Capital Sofia on Wednesday to denounce steep tax hikes in the next year's draft budget before its final vote in the country's parliament. The opposition coalition We Continue to Change Democratic Bulgaria organized the rally, which drew an estimated 20,000 protesters, as you see there on your screens. The streets lined up and filled with those protesting. Now, this protest, viewers, comes as the Balkan country prepares to join the Eurozone at the beginning of next year. The protest reflects widespread concern over the budget's economic impact on individuals and businesses alike, including the increase in social security contributions and also the doubling of the dividend tax. We get some protesters for you.
Протестираме за този фундаментален бюджет, който се опитват да ударят голяма част от работещите българи, средната класа и така нататък. Това е недопустимо. Просто те си хранят силовите структури и просто цялата администрация, която плаче за едно реформиране, просто фундаментално реформиране. Това е към 500-600 хиляди човека, гарантирани избиратели. Това е сериозна реформа, трябва да.
Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa on Wednesday swore in a new military command at a ceremony in the capital, Quito. Speaking at the ceremony to change command of the Joint Command of the Armed Forces, the Army, Navy and the Air Force, the tri-services in the capital, Quito, the president said Ecuador needs leaders who will act firmly against terrorism and drug trafficking. For perspective, it was the conservative leader's first public appearance since his defeat in the November 16 referendum, when Ecuadorians rejected his proposals to allow foreign bases on the country's soil, establish a constituent assembly to reform the constitution, eliminate state funding for political parties, and reduce the number of assembly members from 151 to just 73. And with that, it's time we step into a short break, viewers. Much more lined up on the other side. Needless to say, don't you go anywhere.
In People's Postcode Lottery's December draws, you and your neighbours could win a share of £38.2 million.
Yes, British winning time is back as the nation put their doors in the draw for our biggest ever prize pot.
Absolutely any door can enter.
Sign up yours before midnight on the 30th of November.
A share of £38.2 million must be won.
But only if your door
is in the draw.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo, the site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, your guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and from just £1.15 a week. Plus free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card for amazon.co.uk, Tesco or M&S. Visit postoffice.co.uk/over50s.
Get 50% off personalised gifts and cards for Christmas with the Snapfish Black Friday sale. Capture magical moments with a photo book. 50% off. Make customised decor to brighten up your home. 50% off. Enjoy your photos with a calendar. 50% off. Hurry, the Snapfish Black Friday sale is now on with snapfish.co.uk.
The Snow Queen's ball? I need gifts. Mirror, mirror, where should I go? Boots, you say? Pure catnip.
It's my favourite loose powder.
Puss! Where have you been, Puss?
In boots, of course. Snowy. Just the job right, Rapunzel. I say, Cinders. I nailed that.
Deborah, stop horsing around. Let's play Zebra Bingo. With branded bingo rooms like Fluffy Favourites Bingo, Deal or No Deal Bingo, and Clover Rollover Bingo. And more classic bingo games than you could shake your tail at. There's over £6.5 million in bingo prizes to be won every month on the Bingo Network. Come on, let's play Zebra Bingo.
Whatever you need to ask about cancer, Macmillan's free support line is just a call away.
Hello, Macmillan.
Whether it's money...
Am I going to lose my job?
Getting on with life.
Can I still go abroad? Get insurance?
Or just need someone to listen.
How do I tell them?
Our specialist advisors are here to help as often as you need them. Whatever you need to ask, cancer, money, life, call us now on 0808 134 1000.
Welcome back, viewers. Rio de Janeiro police officers and soccer fans clashed Wednesday near the city's international airport. Now this as a Flamengo squad prepared to travel to Peru to face the Palmeiras in an old Brazilian final. Now as the fervor reached its peak, the atmosphere became chaotic. In their eagerness to show support, dozens of fans in fact entered the Flamengo bus from the ceiling as thousands cheered outside. Meanwhile, some fans also broke through the police security barrier. The situation quickly escalated, leading to a tense confrontation in which fans attacked the police by throwing all kinds of objects they had in hand, while officers used tear gas to regain control. It took the police over an hour to disperse the fans who complained about the authorities' lack of response, arguing that it should have been preventive and serve the event rather than be repressive. After US President Donald Trump's reported intervention, Paramount Pictures is set to redistribute Brett Ratner's Rush Hour 4, a project that Hollywood had eschewed after earlier sexual misconduct allegations against the director. Paramount Pictures on Tuesday was in closing talks to distribute the film, according to a person close to negotiations who requested anonymity because they weren't authorized to announce the deal. Meanwhile, Paramount would be stepping in to take a distribution fee on the film, not financing it entirely. In 2017, during the Me Too movement, 6 women, in fact, said Ratner sexually harassed them in a Los Angeles Times reports. Warner Bros., which had a $450 million co-financing deal with his production company, also severed ties with Ratner. Now, Ratner, who's denied the allegations, hasn't in fact produced a film this entire decade. The Olympic flame for the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics was lit on Wednesday in a ceremony at the historic site of ancient Olympia, marking the start of its journey to Italy. Now, due to adverse weather, this year's lighting ceremony was held inside the Archaeological Museum adjacent to the ancient stadium where athletes once competed. Well, that's all we have for you this Thursday on The World Report. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Israeli ambassador, Mr. Reuven Azar, who's speaking exclusively to NDTV and joins me here in the studio. Ambassador Azar, thank you so much for joining me.
For the invitation.
Let me first start by congratulating you, congratulating every Israeli and in fact the world. At the end, the fact that there is a ceasefire in place, the hostilities have ended, hostages have returned, is a huge moment for the entire region, for the world. Let me ask you first, any calculations you've done in terms of how soon those who are dead, their bodies will be returned by Hamas to Israel?
Well, Gauri, first of all, indeed this is a moment of joy in Israel. You've seen the pictures. It seems like a huge rock has been out of our chest with the return of the living hostages. However, you're right, Hamas hasn't met the commitment of releasing all the murdered hostages. We have 28, out of them we are still having 21 in Hamas captivity.
4 plus 4 is what they've released, right?
Yes, but one of them wasn't an Israeli hostage. So we have at this point, out of the 28, only 7 that were returned to Israel. This is extremely important for us, for the families, to give them closure.
Yes.
And this is a commitment that Hamas gave. This is an amazing moment in our region, Gauri, because there is really an opportunity for peace. And there is a path that is not only has gotten our agreement, the agreement of the United States, but also the agreement of the entire international community, 20 countries. The Sharm el-Sheikh supporting this. They all agree that Hamas has to renounce power in the Gaza Strip. And Hamas actually committed to renouncing power. But what they are doing on the ground is something else. As you mentioned, they are murdering people at point blank, and they are trying to resume power. If they continue in that path, and if they don't implement this plan, this 20-point plan devised by the Americans, I think it's going to be a huge opportunity missed. We want this opportunity to succeed. Israel is committed and is actually implementing its part because we need this peace. We need quiet. We need reconstruction. And I think that the world is waiting to see something positive coming out of this. We're going to give it a chance.
When facts are fragmented, we put the pieces together. Where power collides with truth, we are there.
Behind me is that massive security arrangements that are in place.
Behind fractured boundaries, we clear the fog of war. Fault Lines with Gauri Dwivedi, only on NDTV World.
Welcome to this Thursday edition of the World Report, viewers. I'm Arjun, Samar, Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. US President Donald Trump has condemned the Washington shooting incident as a heinous assault or an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terrorism. Trump attacked Joe Biden also during the public address, saying that the US must re-examine every single alien who's entered the country from Afghanistan under the former president. Now, in a big move, the US has also stopped the processing of all immigration requests altogether of Afghan nationals after the two National Guard personnel were shot near the White House, just steps away from the White House in capital Washington, D.C. Now, to West Virginia, National Guard members were shot by an Afghan national about only 2 blocks away from the White House. Officials, meanwhile, are saying that the victims were hospitalized in a critical condition. Washington's mayor, meanwhile, has said that they were victims of a targeted shooting. Meanwhile, emergency crews have rushed to the 2 guard members and the suspect, who was also shot, to a hospital. My colleague Priyanka Deo gets us the latest, but first, let's listen in to what President Donald Trump, in fact, said.
Earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against... I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden.
In Washington, D.C., the question of national security is no longer theoretical here, just steps from the White House, just about 2 blocks one of the most fortified zones on the planet. 2 National Guard members were ambushed and critically shot. And the man authorities have identified is 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakhanwal, who is an Afghan national who reportedly entered the United States of America during the last administration, the Biden administration's 2021 Afghanistan evacuation. This evacuation was one of the largest and fastest airlifts in modern American history. Nearly 80,000 Afghans were brought in within weeks as Kabul collapsed. But even at that time, U.S. officials quietly warned that the vetting process was rushed, it was incomplete, and in many cases impossible because Afghanistan's government had disintegrated. Civil registries had vanished, fingerprint and ID databases were inaccessible. But despite this, the administration relied on humanitarian parole, which is a mechanism that bypasses the full refugee screening process. Now, later, Inspector General reports have confirmed what insiders had feared, that biometric checks were abbreviated, documentation was inconsistent or missing altogether, and thousands were admitted before background reviews were finished. But the most significant failure here wasn't just at the entry, it was after the entry of these people. Evacuees were supposed to undergo follow-up interviews, secondary vetting, and identity verification. In reality, the system was overwhelmed. Many cases were never completed and files remained open. So red flags were missed.
Now, viewers, as my colleague Priyanka there was just pointing out there, 29-year-old shooter Ramanullah Lakhanwal was also an evacuee brought to the U.S. during the hushed 2021 Afghanistan withdrawals. Now, this next report we have for you tells you how Lakhanwal exactly got to D.C. and how the 2 National Guard soldiers ended up fighting for their lives. Take a look.
Well, now we're up on TVU. Yes, I do. You guys got me?
Washington rattled. A bright afternoon turned violent in seconds. Near Farragut Square, just steps away from the White House, 2 National Guardsmen ambushed, gunned down in what investigators are now calling a possible terror attack.
This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror.
Cops say the alleged gunman, Ramanullah Lakhanwal, waited in silence. And then, a sudden burst of shots echoing off the concrete jungle of downtown D.C. Witnesses froze, troops ran, and 2 soldiers collapsed. One hit in the chest, then the head. The second struck moments later before a third guard charged in, taking the shooter down.
Yeah, it just was a terrible situation to see. It was a little bit surreal at first, then I started realizing it myself and some other people there, the adrenaline was pretty much running pretty quick. Because the second round of shots, made it very obvious what's going on.
Lakhanwal arrived in the U.S. in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome. It was an emergency evacuation that brought tens of thousands of Afghans fleeing Taliban takeover. He later resettled in Washington state. Officials say he overstayed his visa but remained in the country. He was granted asylum status only earlier this year. The FBI is treating this as a potential act of terror. Meanwhile, the shooting has ignited a political firestorm within hours. The White House has rushed to reinforce security as 500 additional Guard troops were ordered into the capital. But many questions about the vetting of evacuees brought into the U.S. during the chaotic end of America's longest war remain unanswered. Why this suspect was in America, how did he slip through, and whether this attack could have been prevented altogether. For now, Washington waits. It's a city on edge, and a nation demands answers. Arjun, Samar, Mahendran for NDTV World. We shift our focus to Asia, where Hong Kong's deadliest fire in years together, viewers, burned through the evening, leaving at least 55 people dead and another at least 279 reported missing, with rescuers still pulling residents from blazing high-rise apartment buildings into Thursday morning. Now, several local media outlets have also reported that the police had arrested 3 men on suspicion of manslaughter in connection with the fire, which began Wednesday afternoon in a housing complex in the Tai Po district. It's a suburb in the New Territories area of Hong Kong. Now, by Thursday morning local time, the fire was yet to be put out and the rescues, needless to say, viewers, continued. Meanwhile, hundreds of residents were evacuated as the fire spread through 7 of the 8 buildings in the complex. We get you some reactions.
This is the worst fire to hit Hong Kong in many years. It's a real shock to people here with this gigantic set of apartment blocks in a suburb of Hong Kong on fire. And firefighters, we can see here the dozens of trucks, and as well as other emergency services, all gathered around here in this suburb, Tai Po. They still haven't been able to put out the blaze which is burning on inside these apartment blocks. And we don't know yet how many people have been affected by it, how many casualties there might be. There's not yet a full toll. And also how many people have lost their homes. They won't have homes to go back to. So at the moment, this is still an ongoing terrible situation for Hong Kong, which is a real shock for this place where normally life goes on in a very stable and organized way. So this kind of gigantic outbreak of fire, we don't know the reasons yet, we don't know the results yet, but it's a big, big shock for Hong Kong.
As you can see behind me, this operation is still continuing. I can smell the smoke in the air, and you can see that there are fires still burning in at least 3 of these housing blocks. Firefighters using water jets to bring this fire under control, although there are reports that some buildings have now been brought under control. Now, in a briefing, the Fire Services Department said the temperature inside some of the buildings was still very high, and so it was difficult to get to the top level of these buildings, and so they do expect this operation to continue for some hours. Now, this fire started yesterday afternoon. Fire services said they got here within 5 minutes, but it had spread very quickly. Now, this is a housing estate. It's made up of 8 blocks. And it was undergoing renovation, and so there was a bamboo scaffolding as well as a green mesh covering the outside of these buildings. And according to reports, the fire spread very quickly across that bamboo scaffolding. Now, authorities are working to bring this fire under control. They are also conducting a preliminary investigation.
We now shift our focus to Pakistan, where amid rumors claiming former Prime Minister Imran Khan died in jail. His 3 sisters have claimed that they were brutally assaulted by police for demanding a meeting with the jail leader. Khan's sisters, Noreen Khan, Alima Khan and Uzma Khan, have in fact claimed that cops also assaulted them, along with numerous Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf or PTI supporters. Now, this happened when they allegedly gathered outside Rawalpindi's Adiala jail earlier this week, demanding that authorities allow them to meet the former PM. Here's a report.
A night of chaos outside Pakistan's Adiala jail, where former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been held for the past 2 years. Thousands of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf supporters erupted in violent protest, convinced that Imran Khan had died in custody. The unrest unfolded under the shadow of Pakistan's powerful army chief, Asim Munir, with many protesters openly accusing the field marshal of keeping the former prime minister in isolation. Khan's sisters, Noreen Niazi, Alima and Uzma were at the scene after being denied yet another meeting with him. They say they've not been allowed to see Khan for over a year, despite multiple Islamabad High Court orders granting twice-weekly visitation. The protest, initially a peaceful sit-in, turned tense before finally dispersing on the request of MWM leader Allama Raja Nasir. Khan's family has also accused Punjab police of switching off street lights and launching an unprovoked assault on protesters last week. Concerns continue to grow over Khan's health and reports of solitary confinement. Along with fake reports of Imran Khan's death in custody, there have also been reports that he had been put in solitary confinement. Pakistan authorities have not confirmed any of the rumors surrounding Imran Khan's condition. With tensions mounting, both Khan's family and the PTI continue to demand access and clarity on the former Prime Minister's condition. Bureau report for NDTV.
Russia said on Wednesday that its armed forces attacked Ukrainian energy and transport facilities, while Ukraine, on the other hand, reported strikes against a Russian plant that manufactures components for missiles on the same day. Now, the Russian Defense Ministry said in its latest report that over the past 24 hours, the Russian forces conducted precision strikes against Ukrainian energy facilities, transport infrastructure, and ammunition plants in 143 locations. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones struck a command post of Russia's 58th Combined Arms in Valsika in the Zaporizhzhia region, targeted a Tor M1 surface-to-air missile system in Mariupol, and also attacked a Russian troop assembly point in the Pokrovsk direction, according to the Ukrainian side. Dominican Republic President Luis Abinader announced Wednesday that he had authorized the U.S. government to operate inside restricted areas in the Caribbean country to help in its fight against drug trafficking. Now, for a limited time, it may be so. The U.S. can refuel aircraft and also transport equipment and technical personnel at the restricted areas within the San Isidro Air Base and the Las Americas International Airport, said Abinader. Now, he also made an announcement with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth at his side. Meanwhile, Hegseth traveled to Santo Domingo to meet on Wednesday with the country's top leaders, including Abinader and Minister of Defense General Carlos Antonio Fernandez Onofre.
What is a temporary deployment of U.S. service members and aircraft conducting Operation Southern Spear. Small footprint, temporary, fully respecting your sovereignty and your laws and all the dynamics here in the Dominican Republic. It's a great partnership that we're, and truly a joint effort between our two countries against narco trafficking and narco terrorism.
It was the 9th anniversary of the signing of the historic peace agreement between the Colombian state and the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or the FARC, was celebrated at an event in Bogota on Wednesday. Now, this was done with renewed vows by all parties to, in fact, continue the peace. More than 11,000 former FARC combatants continue their reintegration process into civilian life till now, in fact, which the United Nations has deemed a success. However, there are hiccups. Some were taking up arms again and joined together in groups that now number insurgents in thousands. Meanwhile, President of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, who was a staunch supporter of the agreement, is set to leave the presidency in August next year. We get you more.
Y son enormes las expectativas con relación al tipo de concepción que asuma el próximo año la dirección del país. Por eso resulta de enorme importancia que en estos meses que vienen se sienten sólidas bases para que el acuerdo, sus propósitos, sus acciones en curso no puedan truncarse por cuenta de una decisión política adversa a su implementación.
A shark killed a woman and seriously wounded another man taking a morning swim together at a national park beach on Australia's east coast Thursday. Experts say a shark rarely attacks more than one person. Now, the attack occurred at Crowdy Bay National Park, which is also known for beach camping, fishing sports and hiking 360 kilometers north of Sydney. Police Chief Inspector Timothy Bailey, meanwhile, told local media that emergency services were called to the beach after reports that two people in their mid-20s here had been bit by a shark at 6:30 a.m. local time. However, he declined to detail the injuries or the circumstances of this attack. Listen in.
Sadly, a woman has been killed this morning by a shark at Crowdy Bay on the mid-north coast. About 6:30 a.m, emergency services were called to a beach at Crowdy Bay. Upon arrival, a lady was providing, a witness was providing assistance to two people who had been bitten by a shark, a man and a woman. New South Wales ambulance attended the scene, but sadly the woman passed away at the scene. At this stage, the woman is believed to be aged in her mid-20s. Formal identification has not yet occurred. The man also aged in his mid-20s. He suffered serious injuries. He was airlifted to John Hunter Hospital and he is in a critical condition.
Thousands took to the streets of Bulgaria's capital Sofia on Wednesday to denounce steep tax hikes in the next year's draft budget before its final vote in the country's parliament. The opposition coalition We Continue to Change Democratic Bulgaria organized the rally, which drew an estimated 20,000 protesters, as you see there on your screens. The streets lined up and filled with those protesting. Now, this protest, viewers, comes as the Balkan country prepares to join the Eurozone at the beginning of next year. The protest reflects widespread concern over the budget's economic impact on individuals and businesses alike, including the increase in social security contributions and also the doubling of the dividend tax. We get some protesters for you.
Протестираме за този фундаментален бюджет, който се опитват да ударят голяма част от работещите българи, средната класа и така нататък. Това е недопустимо. Просто те си хранят силовите структури и просто цялата администрация, която плаче за едно реформиране, просто фундаментално реформиране. Това е към 500-600 хиляди човека, гарантирани избиратели. Това е сериозна реформа, трябва да.
Ecuadorian President Daniel Noboa on Wednesday swore in a new military command at a ceremony in the capital, Quito. Speaking at the ceremony to change command of the Joint Command of the Armed Forces, the Army, Navy and the Air Force, the tri-services in the capital, Quito, the President said Ecuador needs leaders who will act firmly against terrorism and drug trafficking. For perspective, it was the Conservative leader's first public appearance since his defeat in the November 16 referendum, when Ecuadorians rejected his proposals to allow foreign bases on the country's soil, establish a constituent assembly to reform the constitution, eliminate state funding for political parties, and reduce the number of assembly members from 151 to just 73. And with that, it's time we step into a short break, viewers. Much more lined up on the other side. Needless to say, don't you go anywhere.
You can count on Staysure, the UK's favourite travel insurance provider. We specialise in cover for over 50s with pre-existing medical conditions. And there's no age limit. Whether you're planning an epic, once-in-a-lifetime adventure or revisiting your favourite holiday spot one more time, we offer cover for single or multiple trips throughout the year. Staysure Travel Insurance, the UK's favourite. Get your quote online or give us a call today.
The pennies dropped. Pay a low flat fee and keep the money you make. Interactive investor. I think, therefore II.
This year, go all in on joy with our beautifully crafted lifelike trees. For a limited time, save up to 50% during our Black Friday sale at balsamhill.co.uk.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma. But so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pamelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today by calling 0800 038 4926. and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
Get 50% off personalised gifts and cards for Christmas with the Snapfish Black Friday sale. Capture magical moments with a photo book. 50% off. Make customised decor to brighten up your home. 50% off. Enjoy your photos with a calendar. 50% off. Hurry, the Snapfish Black Friday sale is now on with snapfish.co.uk.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Welcome back, viewers. Rio de Janeiro police officers and soccer fans clashed Wednesday near the city's international airport. Now this as a Flamengo squad prepared to travel to Peru to face the Palmeiras in an old Brazilian final. Now as the fervor reached its peak, the atmosphere became chaotic. In their eagerness to show support, dozens of fans in fact entered the Flamengo bus from the ceiling as thousands cheered outside. Meanwhile, some fans also broke through the police security barrier. The situation quickly escalated, leading to a tense confrontation in which fans attacked the police by throwing all kinds of objects they had in hand, while officers used tear gas to regain control. It took the police over an hour to disperse the fans who complained about the authorities' lack of response, arguing that it should have been preventive and serve the event rather than be repressive. After US President Donald Trump's reported intervention, Paramount Pictures is set to redistribute Brett Ratner's Rush Hour 4, a project that Hollywood had eschewed after earlier sexual misconduct allegations against the director. Paramount Pictures on Tuesday was in closing talks to distribute the film, according to a person close to negotiations who requested anonymity because they weren't authorized to announce the deal. Meanwhile, Paramount would be stepping in to take a distribution fee on the film, not financing it entirely. In 2017, during the Me Too movement, 6 women, in fact, said Ratner sexually harassed them in a Los Angeles Times reports. Warner Bros., which had a $450 million co-financing deal with his production company, also severed ties with Ratner. Now, Ratner, who's denied the allegations, hasn't in fact produced a film this entire decade. The Olympic flame for the 2026 Milan Cortina Winter Olympics was lit on Wednesday in a ceremony at the historic site of ancient Olympia, marking the start of its journey to Italy. Now, due to adverse weather, this year's lighting ceremony was held inside the Archaeological Museum adjacent to the ancient stadium where athletes once competed. Well, that's all we have for you this Thursday on The World Report. Take care and have a wonderful day.
Oh no! What's happened?
It's the car. Total nightmare. Completely packed up.
What are you going to do?
It's okay. I've got Drafty.
Drafty works like a pot of cash up to £3,000, and borrowing £100 for a month costs just over a fiver. Just go online, apply now, and the money will be sent to your bank in under 90 seconds.
It's easy. Just visit drafty.co.uk.
Let me tell you more about Drafty, a different way to borrow. If life throws you unexpected bills, if your washing machine just threw in the towel, literally, or if your car has lost its drive, visit drafty.co.uk and apply today.
There are no application fees, no subscription fees and no late fees. Simple. If you're a UK resident with a bank account, over 18 and earn over £1,250 per month, then you can apply online and Drafty will give you an almost instant decision.
Can you tell us about your experience, Anton?
Yeah, I first used Drafty when my car broke down and I didn't know what to do. Then I found Drafty. I borrowed what I needed to get myself back on the road. There were no hidden fees and how much it would cost was really clear. I also love that I have that pot of cash there if I ever need it again.
With Drafty, you can access up to £3,000 almost instantly. Try Drafty. It's a breeze to use. And borrowing £100 for a month costs just over a £5. Visit drafty.co.uk to apply online today. Drafty give you a personal credit limit so you can make withdrawals when it suits you. And they help you stay in control with repayment reminders, updates on your credit limit and ways to save money. You can access Drafty online and you'll have the money on the way to your bank in under 90 seconds.
How did you get on, Greg?
Well, what a day. The washing machine breaking was the last thing I needed. But honestly, knowing that Drafty's there for me to use when I want to, that's the freedom. The money was sent to my bank within minutes.
If you want to get on with life, try Drafty. With Drafty, you can borrow up to your personal credit limit almost instantly, and borrowing £100 for a month costs just over a £5. Visit drafty.co.uk to apply online today. Drafty have helped over 100,000 people access cash exactly when they needed a bit of flexibility. But don't take our word for it, their reviews speak for themselves. Drafty, it's a breeze to use. If approved, Drafty will give you access to a flexible pot of cash up to £3,000.
How did Drafty help you, Danny?
I just didn't realise the cost of moving house. It was stressful enough without money worries as well. I used Drafty and they were great. The money was sent to my bank within minutes, and it's reassuring to know they're there if I need them again.
At Drafty, they know life has its ups and downs. If you don't borrow, you don't pay anything. It doesn't get any easier than that.
Drafty, it's a breeze to use. Access up to £3,000 today with drafty.co.uk.
A very good afternoon. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Divya Wadla. We have a whole lot lined up for you, including what's happening in Karnataka. Well, of course, there are going to be multiple meetings that are going to be taking place, starting with a meeting between Arjun and Rahul Gandhi, and then followed by DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, who are ready to be here in the national capital. We'll get you all the details. First, the headlines. Chief Minister tussle in the top gear in Karnataka, with Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar say that they are ready to go to Delhi if they are summoned. And according to sources, DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah can be called to Delhi as early as tomorrow for talks. So a big U-turn as far as the Deputy Chief Minister is concerned. DK there denying posting a word of power. He posted, and I quote, "Keeping one's word is the greatest strength." And now he says he hasn't even posted that. So there, DK Shivkumar, denying that keeping one's word is the greatest promise that one can keep, is the greatest thing in the world. That is the denial by the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka. And it is Congress top brass that is, ready for that meeting. We're talking about a meeting that's going to be taking place between Arjun and with Rahul Gandhi before finally meeting with the leaders of Karnataka. And here we have, in fact, the camp of Siddaramaiah there, saying and backing completely Siddaramaiah on one side. It's a wait and watch game, and that's the mode that has been adopted by the Congress in Karnataka. And then we have KJ George as well, and KJ George there, playing the mediator as far as Karnataka is concerned. He just had a meeting with Siddaramaiah. Let's just start with politics that is now in fact exploding in the state of Karnataka. Just to go before that deadline of the 1st of December, the Siddaramaiah camp is in wait and watch mode as the tussle is intensifying. Sources are saying that Siddaramaiah camp is preparing for a fight back if the top brass hints at a change. Now, it is loyalists when it comes to the Siddaramaiah camp. 7 of them, including Jarki Holi and G. Parmeshwar, the Home Minister, they held a meeting at his residence just a little while ago. They are ready to put all the pressure on the High Command if they plan to remove Siddaramaiah as the Chief Minister. Now, his camp is even mulling to field contender against DK Shivkumar if nothing else works. According to the rift, is Congress Chief Arjun Kharge, who said that he'll call DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah and they will be called to Delhi in order to discuss the ongoing tussle. He also stated that the High Command will eventually take that final decision, that final call, and the Congress has tasked the Karnataka Mantri KJ George to mediate. He did have a meeting that took place with Siddaramaiah and is in touch with both sides, whether it's Siddaramaiah or with the DK Shivkumar camp as well. So will he manage to prevail? Will there be a solution to this problem? But there are more meetings coming up, like we said, starting with, of course, the High Command there holding that meeting here at the National Capital, and finally the leaders of Karnataka that are expected to be in Delhi as well.
ये देखिए, मैं इन सबको बुला के चर्चा करता हूँ. उस चर्चे में राहुल गांधी भी रहेंगे और मेरे हमारे दूसरे मेंबर्स भी रहेंगे, सीएम भी रहेंगे और हमारे डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर रहेंगे. तो इन सबको बुला के चर्चा करने के बाद निर्णय होगा. हाई कमांड बोले तो टीम है, अकेला नहीं रहता, टीम है. जब हमारी पूरे हाई कमांड की टीम बैठ के चर्चा करके निर्णय लेगा.
So far, High Command has not called me. They call me, I will definitely go to the Delhi.
My reaction is nothing. For us, party is more important than everything. I am not claiming anything right now. Whatever the party, in the interest of the best interest of the party, we will all work together and see that the success of our party is more important than individual things.
A remark coming out from Siddaramaiah, the Chief Minister of the state of Karnataka, saying that if he is called to Delhi, he will be making his way to the national capital if the High Command wants to have him in Delhi. So that is something that Siddaramaiah has gone on to say. If the High Command calls, we'll be heading to Delhi, we'll go to Delhi. And that is also what DK Shivkumar is saying. But first, let's listen in to Siddaramaiah.
मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे और दिल्ली कर दी सर. मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे और दिल्ली के हाँ सर ओके सर ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್
ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಕರೆದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಆಯ್ತು ಒಬ್ಬೊಬ್ಬರೇ ಹೇಳೋಣ, ಜನರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ದೆಹಲಿ ಕರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಮಲ್ಲಿಕಾರ್ಜುನ್ ಖರ್ಗೆ ಅವರು ದೆಹಲಿಗೆ
ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಲ್ರಿ
ಹಾಂ ಸರ್ ಓಕೆ ಸರ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ ಸರ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಸರ್.
And to know more on what's going on in Karnataka, we have my colleagues Ritu and Deepak joining us. And here from the National Capital, we have Aishwarya Jain with us. Deepak, over to you first. Take us to what's really happening on the ground. Here we just heard Siddaramaiah saying that if he is called by the High Command, he will be here in Delhi. Tell us how soon can that be?
Well, Mr. Siddaramaiah has been hoping that the High Command, calls him and makes his decision as soon as possible, because that's what he said a couple of days ago, and we heard him clearly say that there is a decision to make, and the High Command really needs to clear the confusion. And now that has been, of course, reiterated by Satish Jarkioli, G. Parmeshwar, by H.C. Mahadevappa, by a host of leaders who all now want clarity from the High Command. What's that clarity going to be is the question. Ritu, you've also been speaking to some of the leaders here, who all continue to maintain one thing, that the High Command needs to intervene. But why have they really prolonged it for so long? Because when we look at these sort of developments, doesn't really fare well. Has given such a big opportunity for the BJP to attack them time and again. They continue to do so today. We've seen so many social media posts mocking them. This was a completely unnecessary incident. Do you feel that there's a solution really that the High Command has already prepared, or are they going to really now look for answers? Because that's going to become quite precarious for them.
Well, firstly, Deepak, as you rightly pointed out, we've been seeing in the past couple of days, probably it's just been a week, that that the state government has finished 2.5 years being in the governance therein. right after that, we did hear in from our sources that the High Command is really not in mood to change the leadership change. Basically, that's not on their table. The card is not on that table. Now, right after that, we see this set of MLAs start en routing to Delhi to mount pressure on the High Command, saying that this is the time where the DK Shiv Kumar needs to become the CM of the state. Now, right after that, since this pressure started mounting on the High Command and the drama seemed to be not ending here in the Karnataka, that's when you see the High Command has to really intervene as well. Now, even despite of so much of drama that we are seeing that's getting unfolded here in the state, now it looks like that because set of MLAs who remains to be adamant as well, they want him to see as the CM. Now, that's what has become more trouble for the High Command as well to resolve it on time.
Absolutely, but no, whatever decision that the High Command really takes, it's going to have an effect in Karnataka, because you're not going to have happy faces all around. If they decide to make that transition, then you're not going to have Siddaramaiah happy. If Mr. Siddaramaiah is not going to happy, his loyalists, of course, are going to come to the fore and then probably even stake claim for the throne themselves, because now they feel that, well, their boss is not in the top seat, so it gives them an opportunity to say, well, why not me? And that's in all likelihood going to happen. And if Mr. DK Shiv Kumar, of course, is not given the opportunity to make that transition, he's already his supporters have already expressed agony over the same.
Right. Ritu and Deepak, I will keep coming back to you for more. Let's just go across now to Aishwarya. Aishwarya, it all is going to start with that meeting that's going to take place between Arjun Kharge and Rahul Gandhi. When is that expected? Right, Aishwarya, we just heard, Siddaramaiah there saying he's ready to come to Delhi if that's what the High Command wants. But all that is only going to be dependent on that meeting that's going to take place between Arjun Kharge and Rahul Gandhi.
Well, all eagerly want to come to Delhi. It is Siddaramaiah, where we heard from him that he is ready. If he is summoned from the Congress High Command, definitely he will come to Delhi and will speak over the entire issue. We have seen in the past that how they were loyalists of both DK Shiv Kumar and Siddaramaiah camping in the national capital, mounting pressure on the Congress High Command. Now, what the Congress sources have indicated to us that there is no official information that has come down to them as far as the meeting is concerned, but most likely what some of the leaders are also indicating that it would be first the High Command, which will include Congress President Arjun Kharge, Rahul Gandhi, KC Venugopal, Randeep Surjewala, who internally will be speaking on the entire issue, and then probably individually DK Shiv Kumar and Siddaramaiah will be called and will have a meeting. Consensus is something that the Congress High Command wants to make between both the leaders and to make sure that everything looks good. The message of unity should be conveyed loud and clear to the people, because it is just not the power tussle which is going on, which is impacting the governance over there, into which the Congress is relying upon. The Bharatiya Janata Party clearly attacking the Congress Party over here, that because of this power tussle, the real impact is on the people and the promises are not being fulfilled to them.
Right, Deepak and Ritu also with us. Deepak, from what we're hearing now is that DK Shiv Kumar has denied posting that messaging, where he's saying that keeping one's word is the most important thing that one can do in this world.
Yes, that's a very important statement when you consider the larger picture here, because the entire issue that we are seeing today revolves around this unwritten promise of that 2.5-year formula. And now, once that 2.5-year period has gotten over, we've seen two very important statements, both coming in from, the DK brothers. One was DK Suresh, the brother of DK Shiv Kumar, who just a couple of days ago said Mr. Siddaramaiah is a man of his words and he believes that he will keep it. Now you have Mr. DK Shiv Kumar himself, while speaking at the KPCC, who's reiterated that anyone who keeps up their word is somebody who's considered, a person with great power. And he says, be it the president or himself, anybody has to follow the promise that they have given. So this promise, Ritu, is the bigger question, because while, of course, DK Shiv Kumar's supporters, his faction continues to maintain this promise was made, this is something that the High Command has never acknowledged. If this acknowledgement had come in, do you feel that the transition today, if there is going to be one, would have been much smoother?
Well, Deepak, of course, that's where the whole confusion basically started as well, because initially if the AICC had made it very clear saying that the Siddaramaiah is going to remain the Chief Minister for the complete 5 years, probably that basically was, if not conveyed to these leaders, they wouldn't have come up this time to speak about it. This whole scenario basically wouldn't have arisen at all for the Congress party. Now, since there was some sort of a conversation that was initially made, now that's what has led to this kind of a situation in the state. But however, you see, needs to be seen as well, because how that the High Command is really going to resolve this issue, because for them it's not about looking at the two men here, but it's also about looking into the caste politics as well, the ratio of the caste that we always see here in the state as well. That remains to be important. Now, there are a list of questions as well before the High Command, whether that, when they choose to make one of them as the Chief Minister, whether it's Siddaramaiah to continue as the CM, or for that matter, whether they pick, DK Shivakumar to become the next Chief Minister for the 2.5 years. So yes, there are a lot of questions before the High Command as well that they will really have to look into it, because remember, the Congress is very stronger here in the South India when we look into the other states of the southern India. So now that's the reason why the Congress, even the High Command, does not want to take any chance or a risk here when we look into this whole drama that's getting unfolded here.
Absolutely. And, the meeting that was held today at the Chief Minister's residence, I'm just getting some information about that. And we'll, of course, be putting that out for our viewers in a short while, which is also very crucial in the whole scheme of things, because when you have leaders like G. Parmeshwar, H.C. Mahadevappa, Satish Jarkioli, these are big names in Karnataka politics, all of them landing at the Chief Minister's doorstep even before the cabinet meeting happens. It just definitely shows that there's a lot brewing from within as well. As much as it's, playing out in the open, there's also so much that's playing out from within the Congress party too.
Right, Deepak and Ritu, well, all of this is, something that is going to carry on for the next 2 to 3 days over the weekend before we have that decision that's going to be taken. There is a deadline that has been set, which is the 1st of December. Now, the non-stop Siddaramaiah pressure tactic, now that is what we are hearing of. Sources are telling us that it is a pressure that is being put by the Siddaramaiah camp versus the DK Shivakumar, that promise pitch when, he, of course, has been talking about that word power, which now he's gone on to say that he didn't even make that post on social media sites. In fact, this is something that we've been talking about since yesterday, that he's gone on to hint that cryptic message of his where he says keeping one's word is the most important thing in this world. And of course, that perhaps was the promise that was made to him in regard to the latter half of the the chief ministerialship. Now, the chief minister is flaunting the MLA power here, but it is the chief minister who is firing at the High Command from the aide's shoulder. We're talking about the aide of the chief minister saying that MLAs only elected the chief minister, and only it's the MLAs that can remove the chief minister. That is something that is being said by the camp of Siddaramaiah. Do remember that on the other side we have DK Shivakumar camp where Iqbal Hussain, they're saying that it's a 200% guarantee that it will be DK Shivakumar who will be taking charge. Now, of course, now let's just also talk about both the rival camps, with the Congress High Command there not really happy with the bind that they're seeing the Karnataka government in. There's no word as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, Mallikarjun Kharge is concerned. They, of course, are upset with the open fight as far as the leaders in Karnataka, the chief minister and the deputy chief minister. Now, the Delhi meeting that's going to be taking place between the two leaders, that is, of course, Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge, will then, make way for the meeting with the top command. This is the High Command taking that meeting with the top command of the leaders in Karnataka. Let's just listen in to what the political reactions that are coming about.
Apparently, Karnataka CM Siddaramaiah himself said that there's a lot of confusion, obviously, but the High Command needs to put whole of this to a rest, sir. But how do you see it with what is really panning out in the state?
Nothing, ma'am, it's very clear. So CM himself is told more than 10 times that whatever decision is taken by High Command, he is going to abide by it. So, how much ever you ask, so beyond that there is no proper answer. He has given a perfect answer. So, we have to wait for it. And CM himself is coming here, so we have to wait for it. So, since he has already cleared and said that whatever High Command says, he is going to abide by it.
So, but also a lot of leaders say that because he is also seen as a mass leader, it's important for High Command also to look into the various factors at such, sir.
Now again, for sub-question, you are asking one more question. All this is definitely will be looked by High Command. So if any such decision has to be taken, I cannot speak. The CM himself has been telling very clearly, categorically, that High Command has to take a decision on it.
लगता है सर कि सिद्धरामैया ही मुख्यमंत्री बनके रहेंगे 2020?
अभी मुख्यमंत्री कुर्सी खाली नहीं है, वो चेयर पे सिद्धरामैया बैठे हैं मेरी मैं कभी बार बार मैं कहते आ रहा हूँ कि 28 तक सिद्धरामैया मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे। 100% साल होएगा।
आप ये कह रहे हैं कि 28 तक सिद्धरामैया मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे, यही आप
मैं पहले से वही बोल रहा हूँ। अभी वो कुर्सी में सिद्धरामैया साहब मुख्यमंत्री होकर बैठे हैं, 28 तक वही रहेंगे। अगर उनको चेंज करना तो आप नहीं कर सकते, हम नहीं कर सकते, हाई कमांड करना। हाई कमांड जो भी डिसीजन लेंगे उसके लिए हम तैयार हैं।
वर्ल्ड पावर ऐसा सर डीके शिवकुमार बोल रहे हैं कि वर्ल्ड पावर।
अभी वो साझा है। अभी हमारे डीसीएम भी वकील के पैकी में आते हैं। अभी उनके समाज के लोग उनको भी चाहते हैं कि वो भी मुख्यमंत्री बने करके। गलत क्या है वो?
पर वादा खिलाफी हुई सर, आपको ऐसा लगता है?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।
After this, it's all up to high command. So I don't want to react on this.
मैम बट हाई कमांड खुद बोल रहे हैं कि उनको भी पता है कि क्या चल रहा है कर्नाटका में करके। मैम बहुत सारे जो लॉयलिस्ट है डीके शिवकुमार के, वो चाहते हैं कि अब की बार मौका उनको मिले सीएम बनने का। मैम
जी, इसके बारे में ज़्यादा हम बात नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि कांग्रेस पार्टी एकदम लाइक डिसिप्लिनरी पार्टी है। तो हम तो एक कार्यकर्ता के हिसाब से मैं इतना ही बोलूँगी, जो भी है जल्द से जल्द हाईकमांड इंटरव्यून होगा और डिसीजन लेगा।
क्या ये वो समय है जहां पर हाईकमांड को भी मौका देना चाहिए डीके शिवकुमार को? क्योंकि वोकलिगा कम्युनिटी जो है, जो सीयर्स है, जो कम्युनिटी है, वो बोल रहे हैं कि हमने इसके लिए वोट किया ये सोच के कि कांग्रेस कभी डीके शिवकुमार को मौका देंगे 2.5 साल के बाद में।
खड़गे साहब का जो सहयोग है, ये सब मिला के हुआ है, कलेक्टिव लीडरशिप हुआ है। फिर भी अगर कुछ है तो हाईकमांड ज़रूर इसके ऊपर मतलब
आपको क्या लगता है, क्या ये मौका है कि
लगने के बाद अलग है हमारी जो बात,
आप भी पार्टी के लीडर हैं,
डेफिनेटली यस, लेकिन इम्पोर्टेंट लीडर है, इसीलिए जो हाईकमांड निर्णय लेगी उसका हम सहयोग करेंगे।
बेसिकली लॉट द कंफ्यूजन।
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma. But so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pamelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 038 4926 and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
However you choose to say goodbye, we help you own it.
Get hosting sorted with Black Friday deals on the UK's best broadband technology with full fiber 100 that can actually handle the extra guests this winter. It's fast, reliable, and only $26.99 a month. We'll even give you up to £300 towards early exit fees. So switch to EE today. Offer ends 11th December.
You weren't supposed to burn the potatoes or invite everyone round at 2.
Till 3 o'clock, right?
We weren't supposed to do presents this year.
I can't even be mad at you now, can I?
And you weren't supposed to take everyone home again. We weren't supposed to have our Beth either. We weren't supposed to get married. And you weren't supposed to be here. But you are, thanks to the best gift you ever got. And mine is still having you.
To help us fund life-saving research, donate 5, 10 or 20 pounds, text 5, 10 or 20 to 70499.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Just sorted my guaranteed over 50 plan with Sun Life. There's even a cash payout. Nice one. It's given me the confidence to look after myself. I've started learning jiu-jitsu.
Come on!
Sorry, love. Sensei's turned me into a lethal weapon.
Do you need a doctor?
Oh, no. With Sun Life, there's no medical questions.
Search Sun Life Plan today and get a free gift card.
Deborah, stop horsing around. Let's play Zebra Bingo. With branded bingo rooms like Fluffy Favourites Bingo, Deal or No Deal Bingo, and Clover Rollover Bingo. And more classic bingo games than you could shake your tail at. There's over £6.5 million in bingo prizes to be won every month on the Bingo Network. Come on, let's play Zebra Bingo!
Mr. Arjun, who is a staunch supporter of Siddaramaiah, also has vehemently spoken against Mr. DK's elevation. All of them coming together itself sent a strong message, and more importantly, what I'm picking up here is that they see themselves now as the Ahinda faction that needs to counter this Wokaliga for CM narrative. How will this really play out when they actually counter it is an important question. But Ritu, we've been talking about how Karnataka caste dynamics matter so much, because up until now, when it was the BJP versus the Congress, we used to talk about, the two prominent communities, especially the Lingayats and the Wokaligas. But now with Siddaramaiah at the helm of affairs and some of his close aides coming from, the Ahinda background, and we've seen that strong backing for him, and he's considered himself a champion of the Ahinda group. Now with this sort of Ahinda versus Wokaliga narrative building up, how do you really see caste equations really play a role in this decision to be made by the High Command?
Look, I think it's very important for our viewers that we highlight this, that we do know that Veerashaiva Lingayats voters are of around 11% in our state, and Wokaligas are around 10.5%, if I'm not wrong. There you see, but the Wokaliga over here, the voters are not divided, are not just with the Congress party. You see, Kumaraswamy, HD Kumaraswamy, the union minister, is also a very strong Wokaliga leader. That's why we have always seen Kumaraswamy versus DK Shivakumar. So obviously here it goes by default that the Wokaliga voters are divided between the JDS and the Congress. Now this is something a very important factor for the High Command as well to look into it. Now when we talk about the Ahinda as such, you see SC, ST and the Dalits and other communities basically consolidate to almost 25% of the vote share here in the state. Now that's what is the plus point for Siddaramaiah. That's what his strength as well, being seen as the mass leader as well. So there are these various factors that one can really look into. Again, when we talk about the Veerashaiva Lingayat voters, they are just not with the Congress. You see, that's again divided between the BJP and the Congress, because we still see Yediyurappa being very strong Lingayat leader than any of the leaders from the Congress party. So obviously there are these kind of various set of questions before the High Command as well. When they look forward to make this decision, they will have to consider all these key factors and then come to a conclusion there.
Absolutely, and Ritu was just pointing out some numbers. If you probably go and speak to some of the Wokaliga or the Lingayat associations, they'll definitely not agree with Ritu, and they'll probably say the numbers are much more in the state of Karnataka, and that's where the entire controversy around the caste census as well has been brewing. They believe that they're close to 20% each of these communities, and that's a massive number. And we've seen how they've swayed elections in the past. Right now, the Wokaligas continue to remain a very dominant community. DK Shivakumar comes from that community. Now you have Sears, of course, batting for for him from the same community. You have MLAs flocking to Delhi. And coming back to this meeting and the details that we have accessed from this meeting, what we've also learned is that there is a plan to counter some of the narratives that are being built by the DK Shivkumar camp. They also want to take some of the issues of indiscipline in particular to the High Command, where the statements that have been made by DK Shivkumar supporters, by MLAs who are backing him, has put the Congress party in a fix. Brought embarrassment to the party is something that they want to highlight. Another important aspect here is that a few days ago, Mr. DK Shivkumar, of course, visited the Parapana Agrara prison, where he met two MLAs who are imprisoned there. This is something that has been seen by the group that gathered today was another act of indiscipline, trying to move so many pieces for his own convenience. So whether the High Command really will take note of all of this, or will they just see this as any normal political attempt by a leader who sees his opportunity at the top post, that's the larger question.
Right, Deepak and Ritu, we will come back to you for more on this, but let's just also, discuss as to what is it that DK Shivkumar really wants. As far as DK Shivkumar, the Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, he's very clear. He wants a transition plan that needs to be agreed upon. The messaging is very clear from his side, and that messaging is to give that clear and final message to Siddaramaiah that he has to finally step down, because this is something that was perhaps agreed upon, is what, the speculation is now, contemplating as to whether Siddaramaiah is going to agree to that or not. Is Siddaramaiah's agreement to allow a smooth transition, is that really going to take place or not, is the big question. The support that, DKS is getting, when we talk about the support of the leaders like Satish Jarkiholi or other known DKS baiters, they are also known to Siddaramaiah. And when we talk about the support as far as the MLAs are concerned, that is a support that needs to be categorically given, because the High Command needs to support that decision as well. So that is basically what DK Shivkumar wants, and that is what DK Shivkumar is really betting upon. On the other side, let's talk about what is it that Siddaramaiah wants. Now, Siddaramaiah does not want this decision to come about as soon as the 1st of December. In fact, he wants to postpone the decision, and that the transition to take place only after the budget. Do remember the budget, the winter session starts on the 1st of December, and end the optics of uncertainty till he is the Chief Minister. A clear message needs to be given to Rahul Gandhi, and reiterating his position. That is something that really Siddaramaiah is hoping for, and the cabinet reshuffle to reiterate the authority till as long as he is in the chair of the Chief Minister. He has the support of the MLAs, unlikely to really let go of that power easily, wanting to really hold on as far as that record is concerned. He wants to set the record for the longest serving Karnataka Chief Minister, may agree for the transition only closer to the end of his term, though do remember that still 2.5 years to go. So what does this really mean between what one leader wants and what the other leader wants? And there was a secret formula, that is what the BJP has gone on to say. There is that secret formula that has been reached upon, and that was reached upon at the very onset. Now the Karnataka power plan is now intensifying, with the Congress there, the top leadership expecting to hold that crucial round of internal discussions this evening. It's going to happen this very evening. Who all are going to be at that meeting? We do know, of course, Arjun and Rahul Gandhi, but also at that meeting is going to be KC Venugopal and Randeep Surjewala. They will all be there in order to finalize their strategy, and only after that will they be meeting with Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar. All of them will be brought in, both of them will be brought in into the national capital for that second round of talks. So all that will be happening here in Delhi. Both leaders are on standby. They have even made it known that if they are called by the top command, they will be here in Delhi. Now all that can happen as soon as tomorrow. So they will be meeting with Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar, a meeting that could perhaps happen on Friday or perhaps happen at the latest on Saturday, because all that needs to be done before that decision is made and that deadline that has been set for the 1st of December. Something that, Siddaramaiah is trying to push that deadline because he wants all of this to happen after the winter session of the budget. Now, the Congress president has already acknowledged the crisis, declaring that he, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi will be giving the medicine. This is in order to resolve the crisis. Kharge also said that he will be summoning both the leaders to Delhi, and that is something that, while they're being evasive of what's really happening, of saying that there's no trouble, of Siddaramaiah will be continuing, Siddaramaiah is the chief minister, but Arjun has now gone on to at least say there is a crisis that needs to be fixed and that he will manage fixing it.
I'm going to CM House. I'm a cabinet minister. The cabinet meeting is going to. I just went for to discuss some subjects. Nothing to do with any other thing. AICC High Command told, Kargeji told, anybody told, Venugopalji told. Then only you ask me. If somebody told, you ask them. ಎಲ್ಲ ಚುನಾವಣೆಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋಣ ಮುಂದೆ ಡಿ.ಕೆ. ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ನೇತೃತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೆಜಾರಿಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬರೋಣ. ಅವಾಗ ಅವರೇ 5 ವರ್ಷ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಆಗಲಿ. ಚುನಾವಣೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಅದು? ಯಾಕಾಗ್ತದೆ? ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ, ಅವರು ನೋಡಿ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವ್ರನ್ನ ಎಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಯಾರು? CLP ಅಲ್ವೇನ್ರಿ? CLPನಲ್ಲಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಯಾರು CLPನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವರು ರಾಜೀನಾಮೆ ಕೊಡಲಿ ಅಂತ ಯಾರನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿದಾರ? ಯಾರಾದ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೋ ನಮಗೆ 30 ತಿಂಗಳು ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ? ಯಾರು ಹೇಳೋರು ಯಾರು?
The High Command decides that they will go in for a change. What would be the response of yourself being a legislator and the others?
See, that's a very hypothetical situation that you are putting across. High Command cannot unilaterally decide anything. They are going to hold discussions, and we will all be part of the discussions. Our views, our opinions will be made known to the High Command when the situation arises. All I can say right now is we have an elected legislative party leader. Therefore, any other discussion.
I want to read between some of the lines that you said here. You make an interesting point. You say that he's a democratically elected leader by the MLAs. That's what you said, and you also said that unilaterally the High Command cannot decide. But seems like they will not decide.
Well, Deepak with us, and so is Ritu. Ritu, over to you. You know, when there are so many issues plaguing the state of Karnataka, particularly the city of Bengaluru, whether it's potholes, whether it's the traffic, and so many other situations, is this really what the common man wants? And is the common man going to be happy with a change of guard? I mean, what is it that D.K. Shivkumar really brings to the table?
Well, you see, that's the whole question. That's why the BJP is seen here mocking the Congress party, saying that when the state has really several matters that needs to be resolved and be taken up as well. We have the winter session coming up, where the North Karnataka is demanding that, they have been neglected. There's no proper development in that particular region of the state. And therein you have this whole of CM drama that's playing around in the state, not looking around towards these, to this crucial updates in the state. Therein all that issues needs to be resolved as well. So that's what the BJP has really gotten and sufficient ammunition here to keep attacking as well. But you see, the Congress remains to be very firm at it, and the Congress leaders looks like very confident to say that the administration is not getting affected at all. The work is continuing smoothly. The leaders of the respective departments have been able to give their sufficient time as well for all sort of a development that needs to be taken place here in the Bengaluru. But needs to be seen, because if this really continues like this, then obviously we might see a lot of other continuously that the BJP who might actually get onto the streets and take this matter to the public as well.
Right, Ritu. Well, thank you for getting us all those details. And of course, the BJP hitting out at the rift wide open that we can see between Siddaramaiah and D.K. Shivkumar. No matter what they say, they have been saying this for months, reiterating time and again that it will be Siddaramaiah who will stay on as the chief minister. So let's talk about the Karnataka crisis and the meeting that's taken place, and the meeting that's going to be taking place. And this is a very, very crucial meeting we're talking about, a meeting between the High Command. And this is the decision that, of course, Arjun is going to be taking alongside Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi is the person who is going to finally have that final call, the leader of opposition in the middle. Of course, let's just put in D.K. Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah, but that meeting is only going to happen much later once they resolve the situation amongst themselves. And this will not just have the two of them, but also Randeep Surjewala as well as K.C. Venugopal, the Congress General Secretary. And we have Randeep Surjewala, of course, the Karnataka in charge of the Congress party. So all four of them going to be there at that meeting. The big players, of course, Arjun could be eyeing the chief minister post as well, close to D.K. Shivkumar, could be the compromise candidate. We have Satish Jarkiholi. And as far as the Siddaramaiah camp is concerned, the Siddaramaiah loyalist, he wants to be the state Congress president. While do remember, the Home Minister has publicly declared his aspirations for the post of the chief minister as well. So, this is, of course, G. Parmeshwara there putting himself in the mix as well. Well, with that, we are slipping into a very, very short break. Back with the very latest from Karnataka. You don't want to go anywhere.
It feels good knowing that your future's in hand. Evlo can offer you a loan from £1,000 to £15,000, whether it's for home improvements, new appliances, a car, or for some of life's big moments. So even if you've had problems with credit before, Evlo looks beyond your credit score and always takes a case-by-case approach. Visit evlo.co.uk to get your conditional decision in minutes. Evlo, your future in your hands.
Don't they grow up so fast? And sometimes the big life moments like a new home and a new school can be scary. Which reminds me, I don't want my family to worry about mortgage costs if the worst should happen. That's why I'm looking into Smart Family Life Insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. I could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
For even greater peace of mind, you'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 542 1775 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
The pennies dropped. Pay a low flat fee and keep the money you make. Interactive investor. I think, therefore I.
Since I retired, I've finally got time for the important stuff, like helping my family manage financially if anything happens to me. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK. UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money could help with my funeral costs, or as a gift for my granddaughter. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 977 6843 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
Get 50% off personalised gifts and cards for Christmas with the Snapfish Black Friday sale. Capture magical moments with a photo book. 50% off. Make customised decor to brighten up your home. 50% off. Enjoy your photos with a calendar. 50% off. Hurry, the Snapfish Black Friday sale is now on with snapfish.co.uk.
Israeli ambassador, Mr. Reuven Azar, who's speaking exclusively to NDTV and joins me here in the studio. Ambassador Azar, thank you so much for joining me.
For the invitation.
Let me first start by congratulating you, congratulating every Israeli and in fact the world. At the end, the fact that there is a ceasefire in place, the hostilities have ended, hostages have returned, is a huge moment for the entire region, for the world. Let me ask you first, any calculations you've done in terms of how soon those who are dead, their bodies will be returned by Hamas to Israel?
Well, Gauri, first of all, indeed this is a moment of joy in Israel. You've seen the pictures. It seems like a huge rock has been out of our chest with the return of the living hostages. However, you're right. Hamas hasn't met the commitment of releasing all the murdered hostages. We have 28 out of them. We are still having 21 in Hamas captivity.
4 plus 4 is what they've released, right?
Yes, but one of them wasn't an Israeli hostage. So we have at this point, out of the 28, only 7 that were returned to Israel. This is extremely important for us, for the families, to give them closure.
Yes.
And this is a commitment that Hamas gave. This is an amazing moment in our region, Gauri, because there is really an opportunity for peace. And there is a path that is not only has gotten our agreement, the agreement of the United States, but also the agreement of the entire international community. 20 countries, the Sharm el-Sheikh supporting this. They all agree that Hamas has to renounce power in the Gaza Strip. And Hamas actually committed to renouncing power. But what they are doing on the ground is something else. As you mentioned, there are...
Breaking news coming in now. Prime Minister Modi there lauding India's Gen Z, saying that India's Gen Z is driving breakthroughs, talking about how whether it's Gen Z engineers, Gen Z designers, coders, and also Gen Z scientists are creating new technologies. And that is something that is in fact attracting a lot of it's a destination for global investors. That is the space sector. That is what the Prime Minister has gone on to say, that India's Gen Z can be a role model for the world. Now, lauding the Gen Z, our youth, our Gen Z, as basically developing solutions to challenges in every sector. Young innovators around the world can find inspiration from the confidence of India's Gen Z, and the capacity building, the positive mindset, and the creativity is really something that can set a global benchmark across the world. Listen in to Prime Minister Modi.
ये Gen Z engineers, Gen Z designers, Gen Z coders और Gen Z scientists नई नई टेक्नोलॉजी बना रहे हैं. प्रोपल्सन सिस्टम हो, कंपोजिट मटेरियल्स हो, रॉकेट स्टेजेज हो, सैटेलाइट प्लेटफॉर्म्स हो, भारत का युवा आज उन क्षेत्रों में काम कर रहा है जिनकी कुछ साल पहले कल्पना भी संभव नहीं थी. भारत का प्राइवेट स्पेस टैलेंट पूरी दुनिया में अपनी अलग पहचान बना रहा है. आज ग्लोबल इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए भारत का स्पेस सेक्टर एक अट्रैक्टिव डेस्टिनेशन बन रहा है. साथियों, आज दुनिया में छोटे सैटेलाइट्स की डिमांड लगातार बढ़ रही है. लॉन्च फ्रीक्वेंसीज भी बढ़ रही है. नई नई कंपनियां सैटेलाइट सर्विसेज देने लगी हैं और स्पेस अब एक स्ट्रेटेजिक एसेट के रूप में जगह बना चुका है. इसलिए आने वाले वर्षों में ग्लोबल स्पेस इकोनॉमी कई गुना बढ़ने वाली है. ये भारत के युवाओं के लिए बहुत बड़ा अवसर है.
Prime Minister Modi there lauding Gen Z here in India. But let's just get you international news as well. We turn our focus to Washington, where worrying details are emerging in the shocking ambush just blocks away from the White House. In the latest U.S. authorities that have identified the alleged shooter, a 29-year-old Afghan national who he was an evacuee brought to the U.S. during the Hush 2021 withdrawal. Now, the U.S. President Donald Trump has condemned the Washington shooting incident as a heinous assault and an act of evil, an act of hatred, an act of terror. This report tells us how basically it is, Washington, D.C. and how these two National Guard soldiers ended up fighting for their lives.
Now we're up on TVU. Yes, I do. You guys got me?
Washington rattled. A bright afternoon turned violent in seconds. Near Farragut Square, just steps away from the White House, two National Guardsmen ambushed, gunned down in what investigators are now calling a possible terror attack.
This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror.
Cops say the alleged gunman, Rahmanullah Lakhanwal, waited in silence. And then, a sudden burst of shots echoing off the concrete jungle of downtown DC. Witnesses froze, troops ran, and two soldiers collapsed. One hit in the chest, then the head. The second struck moments later before a third guard charged in, taking the shooter down.
Yeah, it just was a terrible situation to see. It was a little bit surreal at first, then I started realizing it myself and some other people there, the adrenaline was pretty much running pretty quick. Because the second round of shots, made it very obvious what's going on.
Lakhanwal arrived in the US in 2021 under Operation Allies Welcome. It was an emergency evacuation that brought tens of thousands of Afghans fleeing Taliban takeover. He later resettled in Washington state. Officials say he overstayed his visa but remained in the country. He was granted asylum status only earlier this year. The FBI is treating this as a potential act of terror. Meanwhile, the shooting has ignited a political firestorm within hours. The White House has rushed to reinforce security as 500 additional guard troops were ordered into the capital. But many questions about the vetting of evacuees brought into the US during the chaotic end of America's longest war remain unanswered. Why this suspect was in America, how did he slip through, and whether this attack could have been prevented altogether. For now, Washington waits. It's a city on edge, and a nation demands answers. Arjun, Samar, Mahendran for NDTV World.
And switching tracks now to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong reels as the high-rise fire leaves scores dead and burns through the night. Hong Kong's deadliest fire in years burned through the night, leaving at least 55 people dead and 270 people are reported to be missing, with rescuers still pulling residents from blazing high-rise apartment buildings into Thursday morning. Several local media outlets reported that the police had arrested 3 people on suspicion of manslaughter in connection with the fire, which began on Wednesday afternoon in a housing complex in a suburb in the New Territories. By Thursday morning, local time, the fire was yet to be put out and rescues continued, and hundreds of residents were evacuated as the fire spread through 7 of the 8 buildings in the complex. 4 of the buildings, at least, where the fire has now finally been doused.
As you can see behind me, this operation is still continuing. I can smell the smoke in the air, and you can see that there are fires still burning in at least 3 of these housing blocks. Firefighters using water jets to bring this fire under control, although there are reports that some buildings have now been brought under control. Now, in a briefing, the Fire Services Department said the temperature inside some of the buildings was still very high, and so it was difficult to get to the top level of these buildings, and so they do expect this operation to continue for some hours. Now, this fire started yesterday afternoon. Fire services said they got here within 5 minutes, but it had spread very quickly. Now, this is a housing estate. It's made up of 8 blocks. And it was undergoing renovation, and so there was a bamboo scaffolding as well as a green mesh covering the outside of these buildings. And according to reports, that the fire spread very quickly across that bamboo scaffolding. Now, authorities are working to bring this fire under control. They are also conducting a preliminary investigation.
And switching tracks to Pakistan amid rumours claiming that former Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan died in jail. His 3 sisters have claimed that they were brutally assaulted by the police for demanding a meeting with the jailed leader. Khan's sisters have in fact claimed that the police assaulted them along with the PTI supporters when they gathered outside Rawalpindi's jail, and demanding that authorities allow them to meet with the former Prime Minister.
A night of chaos outside Pakistan's Adiala jail, where former Prime Minister Imran Khan has been held for the past 2 years. Thousands of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf supporters erupted in violent protest, convinced that Imran Khan had died in custody. The unrest unfolded under the shadow of Pakistan's powerful army chief Asim Munir, with many protesters openly accusing the Field Marshal of keeping the former Prime Minister in isolation. Khan's sisters Noreen Niazi, Alima and Uzma were at the scene after being denied yet another meeting with him. They say they've not been allowed to see Khan for over a year, despite multiple Islamabad High Court orders granting twice weekly visitation. The protest, initially a peaceful sit-in, turned tense before finally dispersing on the request of MWM leader Allama Raja Nasir. Khan's family has also accused Punjab police of switching off street lights and launching an unprovoked assault on protesters last week. Concerns continue to grow over Khan's health and reports of solitary confinement. Along with fake reports of Imran Khan's death in custody, there have also been reports that he had been put in solitary confinement. Pakistan authorities have not confirmed any of the rumors surrounding Imran Khan's condition. With tensions mounting, both Khan's family and the PTI continue to demand access and clarity on the former Prime Minister's condition. Bureau report for NDTV.
And with that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. News and updates will continue on the other side with my colleague Ankit. Do stay tuned.
This is an appeal from Soy Dog, the street dog charity. 4-month-old Darlin was found terribly injured. Her back leg had been severed. She was running out of time. Our rescue